Hard Knocks, which is going to be incredible to watch this year. There were a few teams in the running, but the second Aaron Rodgers signed with the Jets, you're like, but of course. But let's put Rodgers aside, because this is the obvious star of Hard Knocks. You got to pick somebody else that the Hard Knocks cameras should focus on. Kyle, you must go first and draft your Hard Knocks card.
I love to do this. Listen, Rodgers in the HBO world, Rodgers is going to be the Kendall Roy of this show. Yeah. He's the centerpiece. He's going to be the Tony Soprano. He's going to be the Jon Snow. But it's these surrounding characters that make this show's sing. And I still say the opening shot of this season of Hard Knocks is going to be Robert Saleh running stadium steps. And that would be my choice for a lot of different reasons. Certainly everything about his intensity and his look is really interesting, how big he is and how in shape he is.
They are.
And that's it. Leah Shire be like, will the Jets take flight? You know, so we're going to do all, I think it's Saleh. Now, what I'm fascinated by Saleh is that Saleh, despite his rippled physique, he doesn't want to be on camera. And people who don't want to be on camera are more interesting on camera. Rodgers is going to be really good at it, and he's going to have all the sound bites and all the moments, and he likes being on camera. He likes doing media. That's great. I want to see someone who doesn't want to do media. Is Robert Saleh going to bring us into his home? We had a season a couple years ago. It wasn't 5 seconds. McVay is shirtless in his own pool drinking rosé. Like, he was like, come on in, boys. Is Saleh going to introduce us to all his kids, his home life, his discipline, all of that? I don't know. I want someone who's kind of trying to keep us out, because then we're going to get that access. We've seen a lot of Rodgers, a lot. And we've seen a lot in the last few years when he's been completely open book. We've seen a lot before that. I don't know a lot about Saleh. I hear about it, and I'm intrigued by what I see. That's the more intriguing character. As much as I love Tony Soprano, Silvio, Paulie, Christopher, like, those are the ones who really made that show sing for me, and I think it's Saleh.
You mentioned Saleh's home life. 7 children, all under the age of 14.
That's gold for HBO. They went in. 7
children. His wife's amazing, Sanaa. And then here's the other aspect. You said discipline.
Yeah.
He's one of these guys who will go like, oh, I haven't had food for 3 days. I'm on one of these cleanses. Like, he does all these wild diets, and he's in this, like, focus range. It's football season, doesn't eat carbs, all this stuff, doesn't drink alcohol. Fascinated to see if we get into why Robert Saleh has the physique he does, besides just the working out, the discipline that he can do. I think it's great.
I'm going to disclose something. I had a text with Robert Saleh. I think he'd be all right with me saying it.
We were on a group text.
He shows up these golf pictures, all right, with he's just jacked.
Yeah.
And it bust his chops a little bit. I'm like, you know, Coach, what are you taking? All the things everyone was saying, like, I'm asking actual questions. You on a supplements? You do protein? And he goes, I take PHW. And I go, what the hell is PHW? So I know a couple trainers, and I go, I start texting, what's PHW? I'm Googling PHW. I'm not seeing any results. And then Saleh texts again, pure hard work. And I was like, oh, dude, that's my code. They're winning the Super Bowl. Woo! Right? He's on that PHW. Unbelievable. So I want to see the PHW in Hard Knocks. My gosh.
I'm fired up.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, right?
It's amazing.
It's a great supplement.
Follow
Free,
that up.
It's natural. Not everybody can get their hands on it, but he's got it. PHW.
What I love about Saleh, he's a head coach. He's been here with the New York Jets, and we don't know these things about him. Like, you guys are just dropping gems of getting to know a head coach who stands in front of the podium every single day. So when you talk about who do I want to see on Hard Knocks, I want to see a guy who was a head coach standing in front of the podium last year. Nathaniel Hackett. He's an offensive coordinator, and everybody killed Hackett last year in Denver. He was the reason Russ wasn't cooking and all of these other things. They drove him out of Denver. Nathaniel Hackett is now back with Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers said the other day, he was just like, most people when they meet Hack, they think it's kind of like a show like he's putting on, because he's always on, energy through the roof. And he said, but once you get to know him, that's just who he is, and you get a chance to love him. And I'm watching and kind of keeping up with training camp practices just starting, and I see Aaron Rodgers throws a pass, and Corey Davis is coming across the middle, and he makes this great catch. And it's just like, wow, hell of a throw. Corey Davis, a guy that was on the cusp.
Who's that chasing?
But watch this play.
Oh, is that Hack?
Who's this coach jumping up in the air, firing up of his guys making plays? Yes, my friends, that is Nathaniel Hackett. Put the spotlight on.
Good.
Nice open stride, comes to balance right here, goes up, gets off the credit card. The energy is through the roof, and that's what the New York Jets need. A tough season offensively last year. Rodgers comes in, but this is going to be Hackett's offense. They're going to collaborate, Rodgers said, but we're going to get a chance to see another side of Nathaniel Hackett, and I'm here for it throughout Hard Knocks. I want to get a chance to know him.
I have so many nuggets. Hackett and I spoke this summer, and he said that, you know, one of the funny things was he and Rodgers have all the same movie references.
Oh, yeah.
They've got, you know, they do Die Hard references, and they do Will Ferrell movie references, and they're doing them. And in the room is Zach Wilson, who's of a younger generation. And he says Zach wasn't necessarily caught up, and eventually they're like, have you seen this? Have you seen that? Yeah, sure. And they gave Zach Wilson a movie watch list for this summer and said, you have to watch these 10 films. Everything from The Godfather to Goodfellas to then some of the comedies that they reference. So I know Zach Wilson is working hard to get back on it. I'm also very curious to see if Zach Wilson has caught up on all his Die Hard references. And is
watching film.
Watching film.
Watching
exactly. So Hackett's great, and I think his relationship with Rodgers will shine. I'll be quick. There's a great rookie class in New York last year. They had the Offensive Rookie of the Year and the Defensive Rookie of the Year. And I think one of the guys that might be the best sophomore is Breece Hall. I want to see what Breece Hall is up to. I feel like he does not get mentioned. Yeah. He got hurt after this game after he was really breaking out. Breece Hall had 463 yards, 3 touchdowns, 20 catches, 220 yards, and a touchdown when he got hurt in week 5. So Breece Hall had this whole season where he could have been this third part of this great trio of rookies. Garrett Wilson, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Sauce, Defensive Rookie of the Year, and yet Breece Hall never mentioned he's recovering from a devastating knee injury. He's going to be the #1 running back, and I'm pretty sure he's got a huge personality too. So I want to see Breece Hall's work, whether or not he can get ready for week 1.
I'll strike that same chord and I'll take you down the Sauce Gardner road because he is a tremendous personality. We've seen flashes of it. He was on our show before the Combine. Shows up at the Combine in Indianapolis. It was my first Combine I'd ever been to. His as well, not working out. What I love most is that he appeared on NFL Plus, I believe it was Thursday or Friday, as a part of the feature, current players, kind of giving analysis. Saturday, the quarterbacks come around. Sauce Gardner shows up in Indianapolis at the stadium at 11 a.m. We're on the air at noon. 11 a.m. or 1 hour early. He is still at the field at 8 p.m. Just watching drills. He had maybe 4 or 5 Cincinnati teammates that he wanted to keep an eye on. 9 hours and this star in the NFL. And anyone who came up to him, it wasn't just, can we take a picture? He stood and talked to them for 10, 20 minutes. This was Stacey Dales. I mean, he must have been on our network 5 times because he was just around. He gave great insights. The guy loves football. I got to chat with him for a while. You know, he bought a house. There we are. We were doing craftsmanship on because Stacey dressed like one of the prospects that day. Like, this is what you do also when you're on the air for 10 hours for the Combine. But Sauce, he bought a house in New Jersey. I asked him, like, what's your personal life like? So much time with Sauce Gardner. Doesn't have a girlfriend. He's focused on football. Now he's spending 7-hour dinners there in Rodgers. He's giving him jewelry. Like, I want everyone to know more about Sauce Gardner because I think there's special sauce there when it comes to that personality.
It's funny, if Rodgers hadn't even showed up, the Jets would be a great subject.
Still very interesting.
Like a great subject.
Quinnen's a big personality.
Yeah.
Will McDonald, the rookie, is a fascinating kid. Like, they've got a really fun team.